Sports News program is brought to you by NCA National Certified Alarms. No long-term contracts. License number 645. Oh, the whole stuff with Hillary. So it was briefly paused, and then she came back after she took a deep breath. And everybody goes, don't take pictures. Leave your phones. How old are you people? How old are you? I swear.
I think she went to the car and got some sulfur and re-energized herself.
Probably. There was a movie, it was a TV show. I think it was when they did the Twilight Zone in the 90s, or it might have been Tales from the Crypt. And it was with Ray Don Chong's daughter. I forgot her name. She's beautiful. Maybe that was her name, Ray Don Chong.
She was the daughter.
Yeah, where she was like a monster and she would eat people. And she let one guy live and married her, but he struggled forever because he knew what she was. I think that's what Hillary's.
I vaguely remember that. I do remember there being an episode that Ray was in, because I'm all about Ray Dong Chong.
Yeah, she was hot.
But I don't remember the specifics.
Yeah, she was nice.
You know she got her looks from her mother, because she don't look like her daddy at all.
She don't look like Tommy at all, man. But I am, look, somebody said earlier, when are you guys going to beat a dead horse? It's a massive story, okay? This is not, and a lot of people how many people do you think are on this that are part of Congress, senators, things like that? I'm sure there's several, and I'm also sure there's several that have retired. Some may have even gone to hell or wherever they ended up going. But it's not about, those people aren't as powerful as you think. It's the people inside of government, the lever pullers that you don't see, that are non-elected officials, that are able to do things, as well as the power brokers that be when it comes to business and things of that nature. So, yeah, I mean, that's huge. This is massive. It's not a story that you want to beat. It's like, oh, how many times did you talk about the fact that the Democrats are stupid. They're stupid. Nobody's arguing that. Nobody is. There's like 3 Democrats. There's John Fetterman, Rahm Emanuel, and James Carville. To see they're the only people who aren't insane. So they're dumb. They're idiots. But this is real. And this is not just a Trump thing. This was a Obama thing. This is even at times near the Bush era thing. This thing has gone over through, a wide range of administrations. And we here in this country have decided that it's too politically hot. We can't touch it. It could it could embarrass this administration. Who knows? It could embarrass these people, whatever you're to believe. Yet the rest of the world has just a small glimpse of these things that we've released, and they're going after the people that were involved.
And from different angles if they have to.
Yeah. So it is a Tommy Chong's daughter. Yeah, she's very nice looking. God, whatever happened to her? She was very nice. Very, very nice.
What was the fire movie?
Quest for
Fire. Yeah, that's all you need right there.
Yeah, I forgot. You guys have not seen Quest for Fire. That was like that. That was that got nominated for Academy Award too, right? It was all about Caveman.
That was Ringo's Star, right?
No, that was Caveman.
Caveman was Ringo's Star.
Caveman was Ringo's
Yeah,
Star.
and Quest for Fire was just a lot of grunts and Neanderthals. Ringo was just Ringo, but he looked like he was a Flintstone.
Yeah.
Along with a bunch of other comedians that looked like Flintstones.
Yeah. So but this isn't going anywhere. I told you guys this a while ago. Do not think for a moment that now that they've buttoned up and they've released some stuff and everything, it took a long time for Watergate. 2 years, I think 2 months before it finally exploded. And what was it about? The cover-up. The cover-up. Nixon covered up something, by the way, that was so stupid. He didn't order it. He covered it up.
He could have thrown, who were the 2 guys?
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I know what you're talking about. But he could have
thrown them under the bus.
Yeah.
Found out these guys did it. They're out. They should be prosecuted. And he would have saved his presidency.
Because he was going to win going away. It didn't matter. It covered it up. And the cover-up is it. And the stink on the administration, this isn't going anywhere because people now look, the average person, people who are MAGA, they're never going, they're all over it. The average person, Republicans, they look at this and say, that's weird. Like I said yesterday, if you asked your wife, who are you texting? And you said, no, you've been texting late. I want to say, what's going on? Let me see your phone. And she took it and she put it in the garbage disposal. You would probably think, we may have a problem here. So not only she cheated on me, now I got to get a new garbage disposal.
G. Gordon Liddy and Howard Hunt.
Yes, G. Gordon Liddy. I forgot. G. Gordon Liddy. Yeah, James Carville is a crazy lizard person. There's a new documentary out about him and his wife because Maddie looks much better now because, she had that stroke and she looks really good. But
she was pretty much confined to bed at home and he was having to take care of her, wasn't he?
Yeah. And if you guys don't know their story, he is obviously a hardcore Democrat. She is a hardcore conservative.
And they still found love.
And they not only found love, they love to argue with each other, but they take nothing personal, and it's a small bit of what their life is. Small bit of what their life is. Somebody just sent me something. I'm going to check on it, but it's a bill that they just advanced about statues.
Okay.
And another one of those bills. I mean, we're not going to do anything about the kids who, in DCS. We're going to say, hey, guess what we found, guys? We found an abandoned asylum. We're going to throw some cots in there. You guys should be good.
Just pretend like you're in The Walking Dead.
Yeah. What was the, and then you had that kid that was pimping out another one?
Yeah.
Good God. This is just, it is so, the failure of this is incredible. And as we were talking about earlier when we started the show, my wife she wants to foster. And I'm like, DCS is a mess. I said, I feel like we're going to get involved and it's going to be heartbreak and it's going to be a pain in the ass and things are going to go sideways. And it's going to be, they don't have anybody over there seems to have anything going on where they've got a vision for this.
You try to do the right thing and they make it as mismanageable as possible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, God. But we're too busy, right, in the session to do what? To go, hey, guys, here's a real issue that affects us. Maybe we should get in on this. They're like, no, Judea and Samaria, not the West Bank. No, we got to make sure that if a woman is raped by her dad, she's forced to keep the baby or else.
Or else we'll have to kill her, too.
Yeah, because nothing says pro-life like execution. Care about it when it's in the womb, not so much a fan afterwards if it gets messy. We can't have that. These kids deserve better. They deserve so much better. And because
their life is already all jacked up, and the state comes around and goes, oh, I can make that worse.
Could you imagine, like, all you know is your mom and dad or your family. Your mom and dad are a hot freaking mess. You're snatched out of their home. You're placed in custody with maybe all you got on your back is your clothes and a stuffed animal they hand you. And now you're going to go live at somebody's house you don't know, if there is a place for you to go. And then if you're inside the system, you may get passed around over and over again. And what are we doing? Well, we've got to make sure that you can't protest this, or you got to make sure that you can't do that. Or if you were a woman and you were pregnant and you fell down the stairs, we may have to drag you in and, I don't know, maybe have a deposition to find out, did you really do that or did you get an abortion?
By throwing yourself down a flight of stairs.
Yeah, just insane.
And somewhere along the line that would happen. Yeah. Well, Your Honor, we're pretty sure she tossed herself down a flight of stairs intentionally.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Oh, I wanted the 2 broken legs and the broken collarbone. That's a good thought there.
Yeah, it's and who's it got? Who's it? One of the sponsors of Bills. What's his name?
Pody.
Yeah, Pody's all. Well, I'm not saying that execution. It's the wording. We have to fix this because yes, in theory that can happen. We are so worried about so many things that don't need to be, and we have stuff facing us, and we're trying to figure out how much more money can we get for school choice so people that are already doing well can get a break. It's insane. Come on, do better. Just do better. Oh, Lord. I want to go back to talking about Ronald McDonald. Although you guys got to stop sending me creepy Ronald McDonald stories of him dressed like a clown.
The bill is nothing more than pandering to the base for name recognition and awareness.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
If you're doing something stupid like that, that's what you're doing, is you're pandering for attention.
Yeah.
When you should be focusing on what's going to take care of these kids that for the last, 5-6 years have been living in this mess.
And it's a mess. So I come in today because Ken and I like to bring Ken a peanut butter cup because he deserves it, because he works hard.
Keeps Ken at bay when he wants to kill him.
He does. And he was telling me about the story he did like a month ago, where how many kids have died in DCS custody, and they haven't even got to any of them.
Let's see. I got to go back and look at that. Talk amongst yourselves, and I'll find that.
Yes. So, but the story is just heartbreaking. It's kind of like the rape kits, right? Where you've got how many rape kits are out there? We'll get to what we can. You know, this situation where you've got these kids that have died in custody and they haven't even had a chance to go through and look and figure out what happened. And what are we doing to these kids? How are we helping them at all when we're once again focusing on crap that doesn't matter?
Now, delays and gaps. So this audit that came out in December.
Yeah.
That showed systemic, things are better at DCS, but there are still serious systemic problems, including delays and gaps in reporting child fatalities. This, according to News 2, this audit said that DCS had not publicly disclosed near fatality cases since October of 2023, which left 58 cases pending review. We're 3 years out.
3 years out.
They need to move that responsibility on to the police. And if you get called, then the police should report this was a foster child and they died in so-and-so's care or after they ran away from so-and-so's care. And that should be the reporting mechanism, because clearly DCS can't handle it.
No. And DCS, what's DCS's goal? It's DCS, protect the badge. Make sure that it's something, so wait a minute, because you hear stories about this all over the country. They take a kid out of a home, put it in another home, and then that kid dies. And everybody's looking around going, what happened? And what's DCS? It's not our fault, right? CPS, DCS, doesn't matter where you are in the country. It's a hot mess.
We'll have a 6-month after action report for you soon.
Yeah.
Now, the bottom line, this 2025 audit shows that Tennessee DCS continues to struggle with serious systemic failures that are putting children at ongoing risk.
Who runs DCS? Can we have them to resign?
There is someone. Now I've got to look that up.
Teresa Applin?
No.
No?
No, it's not.
She quit yet?
You know what? DCS is run in a way where you look over there and go, hey, NES, you guys aren't doing so bad. So DCS, child, who runs it? Who is the head of it? That's a great question. No.
Margie Quinn.
Oh, Margie.
Commissioner Margie Quinn, sworn in September of 2022.
Oh, God. I'm looking at her picture. Got to be honest, Margie. You look like you sell houses. And it's a great question. And you know what? I know what she's going to tell. We don't have enough funding. I've got 40 different positions open that I can't fill. And a lot of that's probably true.
That probably does need to be more funding.
Yeah. And you know what? We need to hire people, by the way. And this is something that my mother and I have always talked about because she fostered my little brothers and sisters. Well, my nieces and nephews till she adopted them. How about in the years that she did that, maybe you get some people that are over the age of 24 and have had a kid. Because you get a lot of these people that come in here, never had a kid, and think they know what's best. Oh, yeah. The kid fell and scraped his knee. I got to take him away because I already can tell that you're not doing the right thing. So just just disgusting.
I mean, it's a tough
gig.
It's a very tough gig. And you know, if funding is an issue, then this is one of those issues that probably should be better funded if it's underfunded.
Yeah. I bet it's super underfunded. We need to figure that out. And I know Afton, what is Afton doing? She
has filed for a Department of Justice civil rights investigation.
She wants the feds looking into it, basically.
Good. I think they should. And I'm not saying Margie's done anything right or wrong. Don't know the full history of Margie and how long she's been there, because a lot of times somebody moves in there, they're dealing with a broken system already. And several of you have said they do not have enough people. You can go see how many people they're looking for. And by the way, that's the Lord's work, because you're going into horrible situations in many cases that are just horrific to try to do essentially take away a child who may be going through the worst sexual abuse, beatings, seen horrible things.
And you have to do due diligence to make sure you're not putting them somewhere that could be considered not necessarily as bad, but bad again.
Yeah. So we go and put them into a place where, they go from bad to worse. So a lot of stuff still to talk about. I don't know if you guys heard this, but the Epstein files, they're still not going anywhere. Today, Hillary, she spoke. We'll talk about what she said. Iran, when will we or won't we? Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. A lot of you chiming in about the foster care and DCS. It's like even adoption, right? We've made it so hard in this country to adopt a child. And I understand you want to have safeguards, but we've made it to the point where it's like, you know what? I'm just going to go to another country and buy one, basically. And they're like, but we have so many kids. Yeah, we have so many kids. And you do what? You make it impossible. The people that want them, it should be about, how many, do you have 28 bedrooms in your home?
One of my program directors of one of the networks when I was in Dallas, she and her husband were having such trouble adopting a child here that they literally went to Vietnam to get one.
Yeah.
And the weird thing about it was, and she told me this well in advance, they don't let you check the baby's health before you leave. You sign the papers. You are now responsible. You get her back to the U.S. She goes through, battery of tests, make sure she's healthy. And if she has AIDS, too bad.
Too bad. Yeah. Somebody said earlier, people don't go to Russia. Russia, first of all, I don't think they'll let us adopt anymore after what happened.
Yeah, that ended all American adoptions.
And that's why, remember the whole thing with, was it Trump and that Russian meeting with that woman that tried to get a meeting and they thought maybe she was a spy or whatever up in Trump Towers. And that was really about maybe opening up the adoption thing again. Here's the thing about Russia, too. Our friends adopted a kid from Russia. The kid was like 3 years old, had never been really held, had never been hugged. It was like there was no human emotion. Because that contact, the most important part of being a human, that contact with mom and dad when you're little, there was none of that.
Stalin reborn.
Yeah. And then if you guys remember the story where that family, where they put that kid on an airplane and just send him back to Russia because they couldn't handle him. Why? Because that is different. They're just abandoned.
The neglect that damages their mental processes is so severe that it's almost impossible to get them to ever come out of that shell or improve.
Yeah. And that's, like you said, Stalin, like it's psychos. It's like I watched that.
Sociopaths.
It's the movie Hitman, which I love, by the way, where they got the little QR code in the back of their head, Agent 47. Never hugged, never, touched, never picked up. None of that stuff. They have no feelings, all of that stuff. It's crazy. And that's what these little kids have become in some of these areas. But the fact that we make it so hard to do so many things and the system's so broken, and it's heartbreaking. It is. It's heartbreaking. And there's a lot of people out there that, maybe they've got they would love to foster a kid, but you know what? We can't foster a kid because we don't have the right bedroom or we don't have the right this. Or they come out, oh, you didn't have your fire alarm. It's just the crap they come up with. Just so ridiculous. All right, coming up. Will we bomb Iran? Speaking of interesting, we'll talk a little bit about that. A bunch of other good stuff on the way. Reach out to us across all of our social media. We love hearing it. If you're looking at us on the old YouTube, like and subscribe. Chad Benson, Super Talk 997. This portion of the program is brought to you by NCA National Certified Alarms and Long-Term Contracts. License number 645. Thankful Thursday. Go check out Ken. He's got his thankful Bible verse of the day. I also sent Ken something the other day with this Mexican guy, this super cholo. He's like, Jesus Christ! he's his Bible. He's just all these dances.
The lieutenant governor's not running.
Yeah, he's not.
So is he just going to go off and have a nice life with that hot little boy?
With that what?
The hot little boy he was sending fire emojis to?
Maybe.
Remember that, Ken?
He's
not back there.
The hot little boy? How? But when you say little, though, there's Epstein little or there's 21-year-old twink.
No, this is 21-year-old twink, that kind of thing.
And they're always like, it's not us. We should ban the gays. It's not me. Really? Who was that weird dude? Was it the guy in Utah? Where it's like, well, my feet, I spread out when I'm in the stall for the bathroom. Remember that? There was a big controversy because the gays were coming out saying this guy hit on us all the time. And he was like the biggest proponent of like, homosexuality's bad. Bah.
Unless I'm doing it in secret.
Yeah, totally. Nobody could see me. Woo! That is just so awful, though. There's a lot of you chiming in about, and I love when you guys text the program. Bell, tell them how they can text the program because I always forget the number.
615-737-9986. If you're numerically challenged, 9986 equates to WWTN.
Oh, there we go, guys. He's got it all down. He knows. And absolutely hit us up when you let us know about any of the stuff we're talking about, good or bad. Somebody texted me last night about or tweeted at me over whether or not I'm American enough, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And it's like, always siding with the left. And I'm like, okay, first of all, I have no idea what you're talking about. And his thing was, it was a simple option, Chad, always kissing up the left. Would have been a great opportunity to see if you sat or stood up for America. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Sounds like he's sucking up to the right.
I mean, wait, what? What do you mean stand up, sit down? First of all, I wasn't at the State of the Union. I was sitting next to Ken. He wasn't there either. So you don't have to worry about that. And secondly, yeah, I'm standing. Here's what I stand up for America, for the truth, for you and I and us, because that matters more than anything else. I don't stand up for cheap political points because those are stupid, right? You know, and the other night, by the way, Trump and them already have a commercial out about them not standing up for America at the State of the Union. They're the worst. And first of all, Democrats, once again, you've set yourself back. And he won on stuff that anybody could see coming. All right? You don't have to stand up for everything because that's ridiculous. And this whole ridiculous of the State of the Union when they're up, down, clapping for everything like it's we're a third world dictator. Better clap. Don't stop clapping or else.
Dear leader has died. We better see you cry.
Yeah, once again, speaking of dear leader, I want to congratulate Kim Jong-un for squeaking by. Getting yet another few years in charge till the gout finally takes him.
Oh, did he win the election?
He did. It was another shutout.
Man, I was going to say it was actually pretty close this time. He only got 98.8% of the vote.
I tell you what, man, him, she, and Putin, they are popular. I mean, the voters, they don't even need another choice.
No, they don't. They are popular.
And if they ask for one, that wouldn't be very good.
No. Well, one time somebody brought it up. Who? We can't remember. He fell apart, literally.
He
got blowed the hell up.
He disintegrated.
He died of radiation poisoning.
Again.
And he was a librarian.
He was. He was nowhere near anything. He just said, hey, maybe a choice would be good because our choice right now is this. the guy who invented the burrito. You imagine what it's like to live at a place like that, and you get out of there and you realize you already know because you're escaping, so you already know this isn't all real. But then to have the veil lifted, and you're like, oh.
It's like the North Korean soldiers that go to Ukraine and get access to the internet.
Yeah, and first thing they look up, it just shows you, man, right? Like, how did we get El Mencho the other day? It was a woman.
That's right.
It was a woman.
Ratted him
mistress.
Out. Yeah. Why? Because no matter how bad, they got to find a way to get their strange. Right? That's what got him.
I wonder how many North Korean soldiers have tried to defect.
Plenty, I'm sure. Plenty. There's got to be several when they land in Russia and they get ready to go to the front. They just slowly take off their clothes and sink off into the Ukraine.
Well, you have to remember that if you commit a crime or you attempt to escape, if they catch you, it's not just you that's going to jail. If you escape, they put 3 generations of your family in jail as if they committed the crime.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, but if you go to Russia and you're missing in action, they probably praise your family. And while they're doing that, you're partying it up with a bunch of hot Ukrainian women.
Never had vodka this good.
Yeah, no doubt. And look at you. Hey, ladies, how are you? Eastern Europeans, ladies. Otherworldly, like Iceland. You go some places like, all these people are beautiful. That's why Belle was born there. I say you're born there even you weren't.
Born there.
You are. You were born there.
Born in Florida.
Madonna. Oh, we were talking about Britney Madonna earlier. And somebody asked, would you rather be Britney Spears' child or Madonna's? We said Madonna's. And then I realized, they said, well, your dad could be Dennis Rodman. I'm like, the worm? You know what that would make Kim Jong-un? My godfather.
That's true. You'd be going to his birthday party.
Well, I would be. It would be. That is, talk about a world we live in where the worm, Dennis Rodman, is pals with him. What I remember when that happened, I'm like, where am I?
Right.
How did I get here? How did that happen? By the way, this is a perfect example today of what happened at the hearing.
Today, we are sitting through an incredibly unserious clown show of a deposition where members of Congress and the Republican Party are more concerned about getting their photo op of Secretary Clinton than actually getting to the truth and holding anyone accountable.
Yeah, because they're not interested in it.
Just gave them ammo.
Mm-hmm.
Just gave them ammo.
Yeah. And I'm telling you guys, for those of you out there, and by the way, many of you over the last couple months have started to change the thought process about how they're, covering up stuff or running cover or whatever it is. It's not a good look, and they could hunker down all they want. But when you see the rest of the world starting to prosecute people and arrest people for crimes that have nothing to do with, because he didn't money launder to himself. Did he? I don't think so. So
probably a little bit.
Yeah, but he didn't. I mean, these are crimes they're going after. And why are they doing that? Because they want to get, once you start to pull the thread, you start to see what happens. And they're doing it, and we're not. And you had the former prime minister of Norway. So the guy tried to commit suicide because he's in the Epstein files. And they arrested him on corruption. You don't commit suicide at 80 years old at a place that's not going to put you in jail over corruption. That doesn't happen. There's more to the story, as we know. U.S. and Iran negotiations hold new talks amid military threat. It's not if, but when. I think we can all realize that. Right?
We'll sign an agreement, and Trump will be like, it's the greatest agreement we could have gotten.
And then Bibi will say?
And we're going to bomb them in celebration.
Yeah. Yeah, Bibi will say, no, it's not. They got stuff. We were talking, some people earlier were telling me, Chad, how can you say that they're not a threat to us? When's the last time you went to bed and you're like, I hope the Houthis don't get me at night? Never. It's not happening. Yes, they're the largest state sponsor of terror, but who are they fighting? A lot of times they're fighting each other. Because remember, why Saudi Arabia hates them? Like 90% of the Middle East is Sunni. They're Shia. And they don't always get along. at all. Mostly.
Well, those two sects hate each other by and large.
Yeah, by and large. Outside, like PLO that became Hamas, a lot of them are Sunni, but it's because they're fighting a common enemy, which is Israel.
Yes, once we finish with the common enemy, then we'll go back to killing.
Yeah, then we'll go back to killing each other, and that happened a lot too. By the way, when the Russians invaded in the 70s, and 79 into 80, when they invaded, and everybody who was Sunni and Shia headed to Afghanistan. They were all friends then. Why? Because they hated the Russians. They wanted them out, and it was an attack on Islam. But the minute it was over, they're all standing there staring at each other, go, I don't like you. So, yeah, they're of no threat to us. I would love to see them deposed. But, they're making this case where, I hear Marco Rubio out there. Well, now they got a bomb that could reach us. No, they can't. They don't have a bomb that can reach us. They don't have a missile that could reach us. They've got some, and they've had it for a while. But we're not going to get blown up by them. We're not. I think what should happen is, and this is just my radical idea. You guys ready for this one? Everybody in the Middle East gets a nuclear weapon. So that way you all stare at each other and realize, no. No, I don't think so. Why? They're not. What does that do? Look at North Korea. Nobody goes and messes with them. Look at Pakistan and India. They don't fight each other the way they used to. And they're afraid to do anything serious. China. And if Ukraine had their weapons, honestly, if they had nuclear weapons, do you think that they would have been invaded by Russia? You think twice. But we don't need to be going in and getting bogged down. And when you have an 80-20 thing, and this is where Trump is usually the best at, 80-20. And 80-20 says we want no part of this. And that includes half of MAGA and a vast majority of the regular old conservatives outside of the neocons and Lindsey Graham, who's super. I can't believe you said.
Hey, Lindsey's just trying to bring pastel to the Middle East.
He is. He's bringing salmon back. Oh, Lindsey. All right, coming up, Matt's going to be here for the welcome mat, as we call it. So we wrap up the show on this gorgeous Thursday. It's probably raining outside. It looks a little sunny. Hold on. It's gorgeous outside. We'll do that straight ahead. Chad Benson, Super Talk 997. Wrapping it up on this fabulous Thursday in the house, Matt.
Hi.
We've been talking about DCS and the insanity, and it's just awful.
It's pretty crazy. I wish that there were more people that were invested in taking the time, and I don't pretend that I know the answer, taking the time to figure out why we're seeing so much of this and try to get to the root cause of it, why there are families that dissolve in the ways that they do. It's all different. I get it. You got to get to that. You got to deal with that. And then we have to be better about getting these kids into good foster families.
Yeah, it's got to be a two-pronged attack.
Because while they're in state custody, that's never going to go well.
No.
Right? I mean, the state is not designed to be parents. And so if the parents can't handle it and the state finds a compelling reason why they have to take the child from the parents, then we have to swiftly get them into a stable situation, the best stable situation possible. And because, the state has to do better while they have them,
yeah,
obviously.
Absolutely.
But the state's never going to do great.
No. And they're understaffed because I was looking. There's so many jobs opening. They're understaffed. And several people would work for DCS or the state and the city have all said, look, they're completely understaffed. And then they hire people that they're fresh out of college, right? It's like a lot of times their first or second gig. Then really, it is understaffed. It's underpaid. And the ridiculousness, I'm sure, the bureaucracy is one of the reasons my wife and I were talking about, we were thinking about fostering, but, I've talked to Cameron about it. And, just the nightmare stories he's told me about a lot of the stuff that he's gone through.
We had maybe 10 people reach out yesterday. A couple of them got through on the phone lines where they said, we were foster families and this is why we will never do it again.
Yeah.
And it's always because of the state and the bureaucratic red tape and everything that's involved in that. It's rarely because of the kids. Well, if it is because of the kids, it's because there's a lack of communication, and they hide behind privacy laws and all these things, where they're not being honest with the foster families up front about what they're getting into with the particular kids. Are you dealing with a behavioral issue problem, or is this just a child that's coming out of a bad situation, good kid? You got to be up front with those families to give them the information that they need to properly raise these children.
Yeah, because a lot of times foster families, they have, if you've got a kid who's got a behavioral problem, and next thing you know, but you've got kids inside the house, you don't want to put them at danger because you've allowed, the state has gone and said, oh, this kid's fine. He's just gone through some stuff. Mom and dad are going through some problem. They're working to get it back. And then you get him and you're like, this is not that.
There's so many different issues involved in it. I mean, we had some folks telling us yesterday afternoon that the state, doesn't remove kids that they should remove. They do remove kids that they shouldn't remove. And it's like, my gosh, it's FUBAR. And I said yesterday, I've come to the conclusion that I'm a supporter of giving parents maximum capability to decide their educational opportunities for their kids.
Me too.
In terms of education scholarship, this scholarship fund. But I'm not going to support putting more money into an education scholarship fund until they can fix DCS.
Yeah. No.
Right? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me.
So you're looking at jails to now put kids into that they can refurbish and turn into some sort of thing. They're sleeping at the office, but you want to give, $7,000 away that is going to be taken advantage of by usually an upper middle class person. And no, I'm sorry. We got to do better. They're trying to pass bills like you got to call. You can't say the West Bank anymore. It's got to be Judea and Samaria. You can't do let's overdone with the abortion thing. And I said earlier, you care about it when it's in the belly, but when it comes out, you're on your own, kid.
No, you have to be better stewards of the people that are already here and, protect the least of these.
Yeah.
And once again, I don't pretend that the state's going to do this as good as families, but it needs to facilitate getting these children into stable family relationships where they can thrive.
Amen,
and
brother.
It's sad that it's not happening, but we'll talk about that, a little of that today too.
What else you can talk about?
We got to picky on with our weekly legislative roundup. We'll discuss that. We'll talk about whether or not Marcia. I mean, I don't believe Marcia did anything that any of us wouldn't do in terms of if I had Teresa Broyles-Applin's telephone, I'd call her too. But we'll talk about that story that the national scene broke about Marcia calling Teresa and wondering when her power's coming back on.
Oh, well. Huh? Well, you know what? If you had, and let's be honest, if we had her number, we would all call her.
I'd call her right now.
Amen, brother. Amen. Matt, straight ahead. You guys have a good one.